So we're going to do a quick review of what I'm taking for ranked. It is no surprise that I will be taking my Ryujo. My Ryujo has been my trusty ship. My IJ and CVs have been my trusty ship throughout my Warships career. So it's really no surprise that I'm going to be taking them. What we're looking at for captain skills, we are going to be taking aircraft servicing for extra health and the servicing time. We're going to be taking dogfighting expert, mainly for the ammunition. Being Japanese, we don't have a lot of ammunition on our planes. We are going to be taking adrenaline rush. It was noted that expert rear gunner really doesn't have that much additional DPS on it, so it's really not worth taking. I'd much rather have my planes cycle a little bit quicker. Given this is tier 6 and we do not have defensive fires on our CV, we are actually going to be taking a basic fire training. Good thing about basic fire training, obviously it's going to up our AA on our ship, so it's going to give us a little bit more durability, hopefully against the enemy CV snipes, if they come. With BFT, we are going to be taking AFT, again, just to kind of beast up our AA a little bit in case of the snipes. Since sniping, I do think is going to be pretty prevalent. I usually don't take Concealment Expert on my CV, but it is something I am going to take this season, just to kind of give me a little bit more cover so I can move to rocks and bits and pieces a little bit safer. And lastly, and with no surprise, we are going to be taking Air Supremacy. I don't think I really need to explain this one. In terms of modules, what we are looking at, we are going to be taking Air Groups Modification 1. Increases the average damage. I think that's kind of obvious. We're going to be taking increased fighters health P, because of course, health P, wow. Having stronger fighters, beefier fighters is going to be very, very important. Damage control system mod 1, reduce the fire and flood chance. I think, there's not really much else you can take in here. If your steering gear or your engine gets knocked out, you're pretty much going to be dead anyway, so there's no real point taking that. And lastly, steering gears mods 2. Just so we have a little bit more maneuverability when it comes to dealing with torpedoes. So that is what we're looking at. Modules, flags, this is pretty standard setup, even in non-competitive for a strike class Ryujo. Extra AA flags just to give us a little bit more of a boost. India X-ray flags for additional fires. Juliet Whiskey Undying flags. For extra flooding chance for the torpedoes, and lastly, Victor Lima flags for both the flooding and the fire. Standard flag doesn't really matter. I am going to initially start off with the very typical strike loadout on the Ryujo, just because I'm not overly concerned. I don't think this is going to come down to needing really fighters so much as what it is other. You can spot with any planes, and it's more better to have something that can spot and attack than just spot, So we're going to kind of go with that and see how we go. Later on in the season, depending how far we get, how quickly we get, and who we're versing, we may switch... we may switch this out for this typical 3-1-1 loadout, but at the moment, I'm going to be happy running strike. Anyway, that's what we're looking at. That's kind of my wrap up on what I'm thinking for ranked, and we're going to get started into it. So, yeah.